Hello all, let's continue with the session. So this is about Mongo DB part 2, where we would be just discussing about the key features. Now, as we have already seen, the Mongo DB is actually a very versatile NoSQL data solution. So we will discuss some of the key features that actually makes MongoDB to stand out of all the DBs, whatever which has been available in the market as of now. As you have already seen in the thing which I have explained you that how MongoDB is first as well as the foremost in its high performance, what actually makes this as an high performance. So MongoDB is very fast. And when I say very fast, what exactly makes it very fast? How does we think that what is exactly making it as a fast? So this is all because of how it is efficiently able to respond to the queries what is being asked for your MongoDB server to give you on. So this is having an high performance where basically we would be, it might be any environment where you want to work with your MongoDB, it just gets you the best out of it. So you can install MongoDB not only in a single, maybe like, what I'm saying is that it's not only about a single standalone server, you can also make sure that you can work with a clustered environment or probably with your cloud type of environment also. So this is where the MongoDB is having a more advantage over the other DBs, whatever which is being available. So MongoDB, when I'm just talking about, we also mentioned in a while that it is having a flexible schema. Now what is making MongoDB have a flexible schema? So the flexible schema is where what that basically means over here is that let's say that you want to enter some documents or records into your MongoDB database. So it is not like it is holding the same schema, or probably like, let's take an example, you are entering some items into your inventory where the first one might be having your, let me just put it across here. Maybe the first one is having, I'll just write out the keyword. The first one is having an item name, or maybe like to know like what do you want to buy from that. And maybe the second is having a retail price. So I'll just make it as an RP. And we also have an wholesale price. So I'll just make it as a WP. And maybe like so on and so forth. You might be having some information related to each and every record you want to enter into your inventory. Now let's say that the next item what I want to enter, maybe the first, I'll just take it as a number, item number. Let's say that first one was an item number as 1, and maybe like I'll just put it as somewhere around the $2, and maybe the wholesale price I might be just writing as in $1. Okay, so let's say that I have a second item to be added. The second item might be in a different pattern, like it might be holding an item, maybe it continues the same thing. I have an item number, I have a retail price, let's say that I have it as a $3 and the wholesale price as a $4 or something, or maybe like lesser than that, it can be anything. And along with this, I also have a color. Let's say that I have a color as red. So I want to know like what is this item color is all about. So I just have some information about that. Or maybe like I also have a size. So this is about the color information. This is about the size information. So what is that you can understand over here is that in case if you have already worked with any of your other SQL databases, you might have understood that each and every record would be holding a similar set of categories. Probably like if it is maybe inventory, the same thing if I was talking about, then each and every record was holding a 5 columns, right? So one is about your item number and retail price, wholesale price, color and size. Wherever you have a value to be entered for that, you can enter the value. The rest all what you can do is that you can just maintain it as a null. So when you just maintain it as a null, it indicates that it is not holding any value for that particular field. So you can just avoid that what basically you're doing over there is that unnecessarily you are introducing null records. When you don't have any value for that particular field to be entered, you're just making it as a null. So this can be avoided when you're working with your MongoDB. It just gives you that flexible schema where you can decide that what is that you require in the first document, the first record, and what is that you require in the second record. So you can just keep on deciding depending on the content what you want that your document to hold on, right? So this is what makes your MongoDB having a flexible schema where with SQL you must determine and declare your table schema before inserting the data. So when you're working with your MongoDB, it's basically where you are not making your collection to be enforced by the document structure. So you will have a strict document structure which needs to be followed by each and every record. That's what I'm trying to say over here. So that's what you have to understand. Now moving further, I have also said that the MongoDB is basically having, you can see over here, the documents can be mapped to an entity or an object. So you have a provision over here is that you will have to basically think about whether it is about the simple embedding about one document into another, or is it you want to maintain a single document. So it is you can just make sure that you have two different documents and one document can be subnested into the another document. So that's where we call it as a subnesting, or you can also call it as a subdocument. So this is how it makes it more easier where you can model your MongoDB data that it will be mapping to your document, so either to an entity or to your object. So we'll see a couple of examples over this. So moving further, so this is how actually the document structure looks like. So you can see over there is a link of the references between the two sets of a document. I have an ID, so this is entire your JSON structure where you can see there is the JSON key and the JSON value. It's basically the key and the value pair which has been structured inside the block, and underscore ID remains as a key and object ID remains as a value for the particular key. The same way we have a username as a key, and the jar what you can see over here, it is a value what we are providing for a particular key. This record needs to be sub-documented, means that is holding some more information about the particular content, where we can see that I have a name as HR and I have an office as in India. So this is where this content and the other content is kind of references. So this is what which you have to understand over here, is that how exactly where you would be maintaining your references between two set of data, where the data would be in a normalized pattern, right? So related data is basically stored in a same document as the sub-document. So we'll just take it in the next slide. So this is where how the data would be retrieved and manipulated in one single operation, and this is basically which would be considering as a denormalization process, right? So whenever you want to do a write operation, the write operations are automate at the document level. Automate means it can be done. The write operations is like a one single unit of work. So either we can save the entire document or we don't. That's like a commit and the rollback what you usually have it in your RDBMS. How do you say the transaction has been completed? The transaction can be completed either when you save or when you roll back. Okay, so that's what which we would be mentioning the same thing over here. So it is you should understand the entire model in some scenarios where when the data is containing relationship, in another word I can say that, let's say that one object is just naturally containing in other information. In that case, what you can do is that what you can see in this example over here is that the John is holding an information related to his and contact information, as well as he is also holding an information related to an address. So it is like a pretty clear relationship that the phone information whatever you have, as well as the adverse information whatever you have over here. So it is not only associated for this particular username. So this can be actually taken up in your denormalization approach, where you can put everything as one single content. Okay, so that's what which you have to understand over here, is like how you can model your data and how does your database would be taken into a structuring. So this is what a very important line over here which you have to understand, is that whenever you're working with your Mongo DB, the Mongo DB actually gives you two primary approaches. So the approach 1 is your embedded, the approach 2 is your references. So you need to choose like whether you want to go with an embedded or do you want to go with your references. Now you can embed all of the data into one single document, or you can separate your data into a separate document. So it's up to you how do you want to take it. So you can either use your references to connect to this document, or there isn't a single choice. So now what you have to see over here is that this is your embedded approach in the screen. So embedded approach is like there is not a single choice you should always make. So which choice you have to depend on a particular application needs and the performance requirements. Based on that, you would be just approaching for a particular design structure. How do you want to work on? And you can also see that how this can be in a denormalization approach also. So where you have all the related data within the same document. Okay, so that's what there are very like strong advantages as well as a few disadvantages over here. So you can just decide accordingly. As an application will need a very fewer queries. It's like in case when you have one single approach where you have everything related in one single document, you really don't have to do a lot of queries for fetching out the data. It would be making it you as more flexible to get in. So that's what which you can see over here. So this would be better whenever you want to get some data from a single document. So you don't have to work on more of the queries. Using a few queries, you can get a complete information. The second thing is that not only about that, so you require one single query to get entire information. So what is the second approach? So I have said that already that whenever you have one document, then it is like kind of a related document. Then one document is related to another document. So in a denormalization approach, what happens is that I get a single document and all my data is within it. Okay, so this is one of the key decisions. So make it as what kind of a structure do you want to use? Either you want to go with an embedded or do you want to go with your references? Okay, so this would make a better sense depending on whether you want to make